Howdy. The show is live. Welcome to all of y'all. Before I go any further, SKD143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all the reality fans of the world. I love all y'all that come out here and spend every Monday evening with me. Well, those of you who spend Monday evenings with me, and I'm not forgetting about those of you who watch a little bit later on replay as well. Thanks to both of y'all. Such a cool extended reality TV kind of family. So thank y'all for that. Welcome to another Monday. Welcome to May 9th. Welcome to the day after Mother's Day. We'll talk about a little bit of that as well. But before we go any further, I just wanted to see who was out here real quick and give a quick shout out to a few folks. Marilyn Sutherland, first one in. Howdy, Marilyn. How are you doing? Bing Bong is here as well. Howdy. Paula Scar, happy Monday to you. Anthony Steig, howdy. I like that word, howdy. You know, people made fun of me my entire life for saying howdy. Even down here in Texas, sometimes people laugh about it. But I learned it while I was at Texas A&M. We all say it there, and it just seems natural. It just seems like a very friendly hello. So howdy back to you, Anthony, as well. Ma's angry. I'm Macarena. All right, Ma, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'll wait a little bit. I'll tell you a little story about the Macarena and my involvement with the Macarena in it, okay? All right. Anthony Steig is also saying hit the like button. Yes, all right. Before we go further, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button for my videos. Also, if you haven't subscribed and turned on notifications, I say this every once in a while, and I appreciate it. If you do that, then whenever we do one of these episodes, when I do my Wednesday Night Survivor episodes, which is getting towards the end, we're going to have to pick up some more shows to be watching, like Big Brother USA. But anytime I do any other recaps or anything else, you'll get notifications. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so and turn on notifications as well. I would appreciate that. Let's see. Anthony said, Maureen Carroll, happy Monday to you as well. Brian Hostetler, howdy, Brian. How are you, sir? And let's see. Mark Taylor as well. My congrats to, kind of like who won Big Brother 10 as well. We're certainly going to talk about that. So, Miss Fire, howdy, Miss Fire. Michelle Tuller as well. Howdy to you, Michelle. And Fred Benson as well. Welcome to the Cliff Hogg Experience number 75. Reporting for duty. 75 episodes. Now, here's what really kind of gets me as well. 75 episodes that I've done. 75 episodes in a row with you guys, which is really cool. I appreciate it. I know some of y'all have been through, been at just almost every one of these. We had one episode that was, just a few minutes long because I had problems with Daisy, my dog. We lost Daisy right at the same time I was supposed to be doing my show. So, we had one of those a little short, but other than that, we've got a streak of 75 going on. Even when we have situations like last week, I was over in West Virginia at a conference, a manufacturing conference, and ran back to my hotel room. So it was a little bit different. Y'all remember, right? Didn't have a background or anything. Just did the show from my hotel room. It's sometimes kind of interesting the way work and real life kind of intersect with reality TV and this show and everything else. But I was glad I was able to visit with y'all again last week. That was a lot of fun. So we'll do that. All right, Amanda Lowe. Well, Amanda, so she says, I almost forgot this. I'm glad you didn't forget. But if you had forgotten, you could have watched it on replay as well. All right, one more big shout out before we talk. And I saw some Big Brother talk, so we'll certainly talk about that. I had one big shout out that I wanted to offer up tonight, and that is to Patty. Patty's son reached out to me and asked me to do a cameo for her yesterday for Mother's Day, and I did it. But he mentioned that not only was she cheering for me in Big Brother when I played the game, but she also listens to Cliff Notes as well. So now, Patty, I don't know if you're watching live or you do it in replay, but either way, a second happy Mother's Day to you after the cameo yesterday. Thank you so much for watching the show. I do appreciate it. So special shout out to Patty this evening. All right. With that being said, we'll get right into it. And I saw some talk about Survivor, and we'll talk about that as well. But let's go ahead and talk about Big Brother 10 first, because certainly there's some conversation. It's over. It seems like that was a fast season. It just was here and gone, and now we got Big Brother USA. It'll be here before we know it. That's going to be so much fun. For those of you who haven't seen the final final, I guess you can say, the one of Big Brother Canada, if you're thinking to avoid spoilers and all that, you may just want to shut it down for a sec because I'm going to talk all about it. So the winner, Kevin. I liked I like Kevin. I told y'all before I was kind of cheered for Marty and Kevin, who were two of my picks. Kevin wins the show, wins the title. Marty wins Canada's favorite house guest. I kind of see it for both of them. I like it. Kevin wasn't afraid to get in there and stir things up a little bit. His game was, I kind of felt like he was riding the edge a little bit, right? I mean, there were times where I thought, oh, he's doing too much. He's going to get found out, discovered, and everything is going to be a house of cards all coming down, collapsing on him. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about it, but he made it to the very end. He and Josh, and not only did he win, but he beat Josh by a vote of 8-1. I think, wasn't it Betty was the only one who didn't vote for Kevin? And that doesn't surprise me. Remember, they kind of were. She was pretty upset at him at one point earlier in the season. Week was it 3 or 4, somewhere around there. But yeah, it was I have 5 of the results. But let's see. So yeah, it's well, let me see what this is. Sorry guys, I lost my train of thought here. So yeah, so Kevin wins, and what a winner. Let me go look at this because I've lost comments, guys. So all right, well we'll just talk about it. So they win. Now here's the thing. I gotta say I'm a little irritated that I wasn't able to watch the last couple of episodes of Big Brother. I kept up with it. I read the recaps and everything else. I don't know about y'all, and if some of y'all have a secret solution or something, let me know, because I had so much of a hard time watching the last couple of episodes of Big Brother Canada. I was going out and I was watching it on the Global TV website, and then it started saying, oh, you've got to pull down the app. I never could get the app to download and play the episodes for me. So I really missed some of the finesse or some of the finer points in terms of the strategies and things like that at the very end. It drove me crazy. I don't know why they make it so difficult for us to watch Big Brother Canada, but they did. And I felt a little disappointed at the end. But with all that being said, I still like the way it turned out with the winners and America's favorite. I thought it was a pretty good season. I mean, what y'all think about it? It was. I thought there was. I didn't think there were any crazy twists in there that were too outrageous. I thought the people who were playing the game hard played to the very end and stayed in there. So I thought it was pretty good. So yeah, as Bing Bong says, what a winner. I agree completely. And mentioning that, saying Kevin and Helena ended up making a similar move as you and Nicole, and ended up working out. Yeah, yeah, I felt like there was a little bit of vindication with that. That they did that. It was so tough when Nicole and I did our season, and having to make some of those decisions. Then Tommy versus Holly and all that. And do you stick with two people that are tight with each other? Or do you try to get out whoever you think is the strongest player just to help you out in the end? And yeah, I mean, it worked out for Kevin this year, and not so much Helena. She was, yeah, but she came close. I want to reach out to her because she came in 4th place. From this point forward, anyone in any Big Brother season who finishes in 4th place, I'm going to feel a special connection with it, right? Because yeah, I finished 4th. I know what it's like to go that far into the game, and you just come that close to finale night, and you don't quite make it. So yeah, that was it was good. It was great. Mark Taylor, did Josh make a mistake at the end, taking the wrong person out? Well, the fact that he lost 8-1, that tells me that. Yeah, that's one of the things. I have not seen some of the exit interviews and things like that. I'd like to get some of his thinking on that a little bit more. Yeah, I absolutely think he made a mistake. Was it to the level of Cody sending out Victoria and keeping Derek? I don't know if it was quite that level, because I'm not sure Josh. I've always felt like Cody should have known that he wasn't going to beat Derek. Now, it may have not been so cut and dried. As viewers, we think we see all of it. Inside the house, sometimes you don't. But I felt like Cody maybe should have known back in his season. This season with Josh, I don't know. Because Kevin wasn't really... I mean, he was friends with a lot of people, but I feel like there are a lot of people who potentially you could be in the house and think, yeah, people may not be so supportive of Kevin. They may be a little irritated with him back in that jury house. They may not get his vote, but I like the fact that the jury, they weren't a bitter jury. They respected great gameplay. Who was it that said was it, I can't remember who it was that said, in a house full of snakes, I'm voting for the king cobra when they voted for Kevin. That's kind of it, right? I mean, sometimes you just respect the game and you award the person, even if they maybe did you dirty a little bit. Well, I voted for Mickey during my season. It wasn't easy, but yeah, I wanted to vote for who absolutely played the best game as well. So yeah, so it's all over. I thought it was a great season. We've got we're May, June. We got like 6 weeks to Big Brother USA, and we're playing the game. So I guess I better be getting my sleep in right now, right? Because I've done it. I've done it for the last 2 years. I'm going to try to do it this season as well. Do the overnight feeds, recaps, and all that. It's tough. It's not always easy staying up watching these people talk till 4 o'clock in the morning. It was hard enough being inside the Big Brother house and trying to stay up that late and staying involved with the conversations and everything. When you're outside the house and you don't feel all the pressures, it's a little bit tougher even to do. But I'm gonna try to do that, so I better go ahead and just get some sleep going on right now with it. Now, Misfire is saying, good luck to Bowie. Yeah, let's talk about my brother Bowie. We'll have a little conversation about that and just say he was running for city council, so is why we're going to mention that. The other thing that we've got on here is, let's see. Mark saying, all right, talk about Survivor. Jonathan, yeah, I'll come back to Bowie. Sorry, they should have started and gone, but we'll do it. Mark saying, is Jonathan going to go all the way on Survivor? Yeah, Mark, I like, y'all know me. I've been cheering for Jonathan. I've been saying he is so dominant from competition standpoint and all of that. I like Jonathan. I think he's been playing an okay game, even though Lindsay and some other people for 2 weeks now in a row have kind of been criticizing that he doesn't think things through all the way and all that. Well, perhaps, but I think Jonathan's been playing well. I think he's been playing too well. Even the competitions that he doesn't win. Let me start off right here, because if you haven't watched last week's episode, and we're going to talk about Survivor, if you haven't watched last week's episode, you may want to just turn the volume down for a second, because as before, I'm going to probably throw out a few spoilers here and there, and so I don't want anyone upset with me for throwing out spoilers and not being warned. But yeah, Jonathan, even last week, he didn't win immunity, but he came in second place, right? When if you're not going to win, you really ought to finish early. You shouldn't be seen as an almost threat. That may be too late for him. Whether he's the first person off that little balance beam or the last person, I think people are going to see him as a target. So it may not matter that much. But as great a game as Jonathan's playing from a competition standpoint, from a strategy standpoint to some degree as well, I still think he's just going to be identified as too strong a target. He doesn't have, sometimes we've seen in the past, people were able to win enough challenges, and they also had some twists, some advantages, some immunity idols, things like that helped him along the way. He doesn't have any of that, which is kind of interesting. They really haven't shown on Survivor as much this year, people scrambling around everywhere looking for advantages and immunity idols. We've seen it a few times, but not nearly as much as some seasons. Is it just because everyone's already found everything that they wanted to find? It sure seems like it. How lucky can you be? Marianne uses her idol 2 weeks ago, and then last week she happens to find another immunity idol, so she's right back at square one in terms of advantages and everything else she has. Every once in a while you get a season where there's someone that just continues to find immunity idols. Remember, Russell Hance did that one season, and Marianne's kind of finding, between her and Drea, they've got more advantages, twist, immunity idols, everything else. I think Jonathan may be in a little bit of trouble because, as great as he is, he's seen as such a big target. Drea and Marianne have enough advantages to protect themselves for a long way into this game. I think they're actually looking pretty good, more so than Jonathan. Anthony's saying, about the last vote on Survivor, I could have called it when Lydia went out. That destroyed High's game. Hint, hint. Yeah, High was on kind of borrowed time, I think. He's playing a good game, but I think he just was getting a little overconfident about the influence he had with everyone else, to the point that people started recognizing it. People start comparing, they start taking notes, and oh, Hy was talking to me. Oh, well, Hy was talking to me. And next thing there's people thinking that maybe you're in a little bit of trouble. He had a lot of influence. And I got to say, I think at the end of season 42, when we're looking at everything that happened, that one episode where he said, hey, I'll go to Rocks if I have to, and got Daniel to back down on that particular tribal council and all of that. I still think that was one of the more gutsy moves that someone had made. It made perfect sense. I think it was a great move by Hy's part. But last week, it almost seems like it came down to Omar kind of pushing one direction to try to save Hy for a little while at least, and Mike trying to push to get Hy out. And it seems like Mike just had a little more influence than Omar did in last week's vote, and Hy suffered as a result. But it's not all those two guys. I think Hy just kind of, I'd say, overplayed. I think he just played. Just people start getting a little bit nervous about him. At this point in the game, we're a little past the halfway point. People are starting to look to try to figure who the big targets are more than just who irritates them the most and things like that. And I think that was a little bit as well. So yeah. But I'm enjoying Survivor 42. It's doing great as well. So let's move on from reality TV. I'll answer some more questions if y'all have some for me. Let me look through here. But I do want to talk about this past weekend and some of what was going on. All right. Before I do that, Moss saying a story about the Macarena off the bat. Yeah, if you had mentioned, I wouldn't have ever said. All right, here's the story, Ma, and everyone else about the Macarena. Back in 1995, early 1995, I had to go down to Venezuela, and I spent 6 or 7 weeks down there doing some teaching about engineering and things like that for the oil field. And while I was down there, I heard some music being played at my hotel. I thought, what is that? And I looked out the window at the pool area, and there's all these people out there. I think it was a kid's party or something, and they're all doing the song. It turns out it was the Macarena. And for the next few weeks, I kept hearing the song over and over again. So when I got home, I told my wife, I said, all right, there's a song that's stuck in my head. It's going to be huge if it ever makes it here to the States. It's called Macarena. And I actually sang it for her, and was all impressed when then just, I don't know, a month or two later, suddenly it started getting played here in the United States. I was like, all right, I already knew all about it. I heard that song a couple of months ago. It wasn't because of me, but I felt like I was a leader in the trend. I already knew all about the Macarena. All right, so there you go, Ma. That's my little personal interaction with the Macarena. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? A couple of things. Let's talk about this past weekend. I had a lot going on. Yeah, it was Mother's Day. I hope all of y'all had a chance to spend some time with your mother, or call your mother, or reach out and talk to people. And yeah, it's about mothers, but it's also about families. I hope y'all got some time to spend it with family and all that. But as an early Mother's Day present, I actually was gone this past weekend because Sharon and I took off on Friday, drove to a place called Marksville, Marksville, Louisiana, right in the middle of Louisiana. And there's a place there called the Paragon Casino and Resort. And they had a little concert going on Friday night that we attended. A little concert featuring Walker Hayes. And some of you may know who Walker Hayes is. Some of you may not, but I bet you know his songs. He's the one that sings Fancy Like Applebee's, a date night on a Friday night with an Oreo shake. Anyway, he does that. He also does a song called AA about trying to go in church so I don't go to hell. And it's a fun song if you haven't heard it. Check out some Walker Hayes. But we actually went and saw Walker Hayes in concert. Had a blast. He put on a full show. I think it was supposed to be a couple of years ago, and it got canceled because of COVID. So he came back. I found out about it, so I got tickets for Sharon and I. And so we went to the casino. We watched the show. Before we did that, we went to their big fancy steakhouse they have, and had a big fancy date night of our own. It wasn't Applebee's. It was a steakhouse. Had some fancy steaks. Went to their sports bar a little bit later and watched Yeah, they had a lot of sports on there. I placed a bet because you can bet at sports books. I placed a bet on my Texas A&M Aggies winning the national championship next fall. And if I think I bet $10, if I win, I get $250. Yeah, I'm not a big spender, but I'm holding on to that ticket. I hope they win. If they do, I'll be saying, I told you so. I put my money where my mouth is. So we had a blast doing that. That was fun. I played a little table game. I did some slots and things like that. But mainly we were there for the concert and just to check everything out. Had a lot of fun doing all of that. Yeah, and Michelle Taylor said, "Hope everyone had a good Mother's Day." I hope so as well. It's all about family, right? And so we certainly did that. So we celebrated our Mother's Day a little bit early, starting on Friday night. Spent the night over in Louisiana. Once we got done with the hanging out at the casino and everything, we then came over Saturday to Arlington, which is where a lot of my family lives. My mom, some brothers, and all that. So Arlington, Texas, we drove over there. Long drive. Not easy to get to Louisiana there, but drove over there because my brother Bowie, who I've mentioned on here before about trying to get him on as a guest, Bowie was running for city council in the city of Arlington. Arlington's the 49th biggest city in the country, so it's not small. I think it's 300 and something thousand people. Anyway, he was running for one of the positions on the city council, so we drove over there. The family all came in. We hung outside the polling stations wearing our special Bowie Hog shirts and saying, "Yeah, please vote for Bowie" and all that. And did that all day long, and then in the evening went over to the to a victory party or a hope for victory party, and watched the results come in, and he won. Yeah, my brother's going to be a city council member for the city of Arlington. He'd been on their school board forever, so he was ready to make a little bit of move. So he's going to be a city councilman. So yeah, we're pretty excited as a family to have that happen. He was certainly excited as well. So now, if there's any issues going on in that city, I know exactly who to call to gripe and complain and everything else. I've got an in, right? So yeah, that was a blast doing that. It was it was a lot of fun celebrating. Then we had to go around and pick up yard signs and all that. So it was it made for a long week, but I was so happy that I was up there with him getting to celebrate as well. So we've got that. All right. Oh yeah, Maryland Southern here in Kentucky. We had Derby Day. I almost forgot it. So much other stuff going on. Yeah, you're right, Maryland. Big Derby Day. Now here's a little story for those of you who aren't from the Houston area. We've got a guy named Mattress Mac. He's a huge furniture salesman. He sells, I don't know how much he sells per year, but he's kind of an icon here in Houston. And his big claim to fame is, if you buy anything, we'll get it sent to you the same day. It's ready to go. It'll be on a truck at your house by the end of the day. Yeah. But the other thing he's very, very famous for is he makes all these bets or he makes all these offers to everyone. And he did have a Kentucky Derby bet. He said, if you buy at least $1,000 worth of betting or something, and the favorite of the Kentucky Derby wins the Kentucky Derby, you get it all for free. $0 will refund everything you spent. Now, there's some incentive, right? I don't know how many people, and he's done it with the Houston Astros win the World Series, if the Texans make it to the playoffs. He's done a lot of those kind of offers to people. And so everyone comes in and buys up a lot of stuff, just hoping that this is going to happen. And so he did that with the Kentucky Derby. So there were a lot of people in Houston watching that Kentucky Derby and really hoping the favorite was going to win. And one guy, Mattress Mac, really hoping, I guess, that the favorite didn't win. Well, the favorite didn't win, right? The winner was the 80-1 long shot. I think the second highest odds ever to pay off in a victory and all that. So, yeah, I missed the actual Derby because I was at a polling station asking people to vote instead. But I heard about it. We used to go to horse races when when Sharon and I were first married. We'd go, not because we're huge gamblers or anything else, but just it was fun to get out where the racetracks are. It's outdoors, and you get to watch a horse. Yeah, the horses run every once in a while, but there's a lot of chatter and hanging out and just enjoying being outdoors and everything in between. They're just a fun way to get outside sometime. There's one out in New Mexico that was up in the mountains that was glorious called Ruidiso, I think. So it was fantastic. All right, so Oh, Michelle Salmack at the Derby this year. Yeah, I bet he was there. Who knows how much money he had riding out? Because what he does, because he has to pay all these people their money back if the bet pays off, he turns around and he makes a bet on that same thing, so that if a favorite does win, he's made a bet that the favorite will win. So then suddenly he saves some of his money just in case. He kind of hedges his bet and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm sure he was sitting there going on, praying that the favorite didn't win. He may not care. He probably makes so much more just by selling these things anyway, year in and year out. But yeah, you're right, Michelle. The long shot won, and that's the thing about horse racing. I'm not nearly smart enough to figure out how to bet the horses. I've tried everything when I've done it. Picking the horse with the favorite name, picking the horse that's got the jockey who's won the most races. I think it's just it's not random, because good horses continually win. But I don't know very well how to do it. I like other games that I can look at the odds and control them all. That as I said before, we didn't spend a lot of time playing the actual casino games, but the one I love playing blackjack, where it's all strategy and trying to figure out. I love playing craps where you roll the dice, because the odds are actually still not in your favor. The house always has the edge, but the odds are pretty close to 50-50, and it's so fun when the dice are hot and everyone's making money and cheering each other on and all of that. Now, while we were at the casino on Friday, I did walk by the poker room, and I saw a lot of guys sitting. I don't know why there aren't more women that play poker, because it was very male dominated. There were probably one or two women in there playing poker, and about 30 or 40 guys. I would think women may be able to dominate that sport, because I think they can read all these guys probably a lot better than guys can read the ladies, as opposed to reading each other. Just my personal thought. But they were all in there, and I really, if I'd had a lot more time, I would have loved to have gone in and tried to play a little poker. I've tried it once or twice and never done great. So, but not great. But there's people inside the Big Brother family that play a lot of poker. Kevin Martin from Big Brother Canada plays a lot and does really well. And Boston Rob from Survivors tried to go over and play a lot of poker and all that. Maybe someday when I retire, if I have a little more time, I'll go play a little poker and see how that does. Maybe I'll form some kind of Big Brother poker league or something, and we'll just have all of us playing poker, because it looks like a lot of fun, and it's all about the cards and knowing the odds and all that, and bluffing. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap between playing Big Brother and playing poker. It's all about bluffing and trying to make people think one thing when it's not the other, and trying to read the other person, figuring out what they're saying versus what you think they're actually going to do. And I can see how the kind of people that play Big Brother would like to play poker. Me as well. But I didn't have enough time. I'd rather be doing I did a little dancing at the Walker Hayes. It's probably just as well I had the camera focused on the stage and not on me, because I was getting into it as well. It was a lot of people dancing at Walker Hayes and singing along with his songs. So yeah, we got that. All right, let's see what else. Mark saying, I watched Big Brother Australia. Did you watch? I really enjoyed the comps and the way people talk. I did not watch this season's Big Brother Australia. Another one of the versions of Big Brother that I've tried to watch. I watched 2 seasons ago. I think Kiefer, and there are a few in there. Daniel, names that y'all won't know if you didn't watch it. But I watched a couple of seasons ago, and I really enjoyed it. I did not watch. I tried to watch the celebrity version, and I watched a little bit of it, and it's just too hard to find it online. And I did not watch this last season at all. I need to. I'm telling you, let's just get a reality TV channel with all the Big Brother international versions put in a single place. You make a fortune. I think all kinds of people would go out there and watch it, and either watch it for free with ads or pay a little and get to watch it ad free. But no, I'd love to. Here's what I like about Big Brother Australia. They don't take themselves too seriously, I think, at times. Some of the competitions, the house is nice. They rebuilt the house. They did it a long time ago, Big Brother, and then they stopped doing it. The house just stayed abandoned. People broke into it and tore it all up. So when they restarted Big Brother Australia a couple of years ago, they had to rebuild the house. And the house is nice now. It's there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think they take themselves so seriously because sometimes they have competitions in that house they're a little bit more like Big Brother USA used to be. It's not high budget, fancy, anything. I know when I watched one competition they had was two people, a bundle, like 8 cardboard boxes. Two people have to get in each cardboard box, and whoever stays in the cardboard box the longest wins all kinds of rewards. I don't remember if it was a call from home or extra food or what. That's it. You just had to stay in the box. But people got in there and they started getting hot, and they decided they were hungry, and there were people poking little holes to create some holes so they could see out of these little cardboard boxes. The middle of the living room, you just see these little boxes, and every once in a while one of the boxes moves as the people are trying to crawl with the box on top of. And that was the competition. And eventually everyone gave up except for one duo who won again. So whatever it was that they won. But yeah, there's nothing fancy about it. Kids, yeah, take your 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid. They love playing in boxes. They just conveyed it on to the Big Brother house guests. I kind of like that. I like some of the things they do with that. Wonder what the U.S. Big Brother house theme will be this year. I give you a little insight. When I was trying out for Big Brother 21 and trying to think once it looked like it may be a possibility I was going to go in the house, I really started thinking, can I figure out what the theme is? And based on that, is there a possibility I could somehow start thinking about strategies and things like that? And all I could think was, okay, it's Big Brother 21. And what does 21 tell you? Well, 21 tells me, first of all, you have to be 21 to gamble in Vegas and other places. 21, when you play blackjack, you're trying to get to 21. So I started thinking, okay, there's all kinds of things that make me think season 21 maybe would have something to do with gambling. And so I did little things like there used to be a competition where you'd be in a giant dice cube and you'd have to roll a dice down and around and come back with the number 6 showing on top or the number 1, things like that. And I thought, all right, if they do some kind of gambling season, they'll certainly have that dice game. So I really studied and learned how to play that dice game, the strategies behind that. And I was trying to think, what are they going to do if you have to bet cards or something else? I was trying to figure out the theme. Well, then it turns out ours was not anything to do with gambling at all. But one little extra inside scoop for you guys. When we did press day, which was a couple of days before we went in the house, we had to go I saw Ika Wong with ET Canada. I saw all these different news organizations that interviewed us. Jonathan Bennett for ET America or US and all. Well, we all did our little interview with Jeff Schroeder in the diary room inside the Big Brother house. And when I was led in there, someone actually turned the wrong direction. And instead of going straight to the diary room where I was supposed to, they started to open the door and I could see just a glimpse for just a few seconds of some kind of brown looking log stacked up against a wall. And I immediately saw that and thought, oh my gosh, this is some kind of outdoors, wooded something or other. It looks like something to do with camping. And I was right. I mean, that's what it turned out to be. We were kind of the camp theme for our season. So yeah, I was excited that I had that little insider edge for a couple of days. I couldn't do anything with it, but it was still fun to at least kind of understand the edge. And I thought that would play well for me because I love the outdoors and I love camping and all that. But as far as this year's theme, I don't know. We're season 24, right? I don't know. 20. Maybe we could have what's 24? There's 24 hours a day in a day. Maybe we could have some kind of 24 the TV show theme or something. Of course, that was on Fox, so I doubt CBS would want that. But I don't know. Maybe 24 hours each. I don't know. Each week will be an hour episode or so. I don't know. I'm just shooting out there making guesses, but I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's all gonna start hitting in the whirlwind. Soon we'll hear about the theme. We'll start wondering when they're gonna do cast reveal, and next thing you know, it's here. And having said that, if there's anyone out there who has already been contacted and thinks that maybe there's a chance they're gonna get on the show and they're kind of curious and all that, if you're watching this and you want any inside information, contact me. You don't have to tell me you're on the show because I don't want you to be worried that I would ever get you in trouble or anything. I wouldn't, but You gotta be careful. I took it very seriously when they said, don't tell anyone, because if we find out that you told people, you're off. I said, I'm not telling anyone. My wife knew, and that was it. And then a little bit later, kids knew. But if you want some inside information, you don't have to tell me on your show. Just ask some questions, and I'll help you along, just in case you were to ever make it on the show. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. So, yeah, always happy to help out. Anthony, that was a reference to my belief that you had jack out. When you had jack out when you wanted to, Mickey's game would have blown up. Yeah, maybe. I wanted Jack gone so bad that first when I had that HOH, and that freaking Diamond Power Veto just didn't work out to my advantage. I really thought that if I got one of the alpha males out, and I was thinking I could work with Mickey. Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, I really thought I could work with Mickey much more than Jack, and so I thought, well, if I get Jack out, then Mickey doesn't have anyone else to fall back on. He's going to see himself as a huge target from that point on, because he's going to be kind of the alpha guy, the comp beast. Even though he hadn't won a lot then, I really felt it would isolate him a little bit, make him feel a little bit more paranoid, and it would have worked out. I think it would have worked out. I really wanted to create a wedge in that group, and it just didn't work out. And and I think it's Bella, but Bella had just gotten through screaming and hollering and yelling and saying all kinds of stuff about Nicole, who was my duo. So no big sweat off my back to have her out the door instead of one of the Alliance members. Although I still would have had Jack out before if I'd had a chance. Because I think if I'd gotten him out as well, it would have been easier to start pulling some other people into a little bit of an alliance and created a secondary alliance against the big ones. But you know what they say, expect the unexpected. It didn't work out. It is what it is. But Jessica turned around. And just 2 weeks later, she put up the same two people I did. I'd like to think that maybe she kind of saw what I did and said, yeah, I can do that too. I was certainly happy when she put those two guys up. I think her and Kat and Nicole and myself, we may have done a few dances in the storage room. It was so cool being in that Big Brother house and getting the opportunity to go into that storage room and doing a few dances, a few celebrations, just like you see everyone do on TV every single season. And, when I finally won HOH, I think when I won the battle back, got back in the house, that was the first thing I thought is I got to get to that storage room and do some celebrating my own, because who gets a chance to do that? So, yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, Michelle saying, anyone watching the basketball playoffs? Well, considering my Houston Rockets did as poorly as they did, I'm not really watching the basketball too much. For those of you watching, I'm a big basketball fan. I like basketball, but I'm a little bit of a bandwagon fan in terms of my teams. And, obviously Texas A&M Aggies are my sport, even above the pros and everything else. But when the Rockets are doing well, I'll jump on board. But no, I'm not watching the basketball playoffs because I'm busy watching my Texas A&M Aggies playing their baseball. Sharon and I are huge college baseball fans. Have been for the last decade or so. Ever since we were at A&M to some degree. But yeah, we watch almost every game that they play. Most of it you can get on TV and all that. And so, they were playing a big series against South Carolina this weekend. Oh, the amazing games. I know y'all don't care, so I'll spend like 30 seconds talking about it. But the Saturday game, South Carolina was on top of A&M 9-0. I think finally got to like 9-6 or 9-4 or something. A&M scores 5 runs in the 8th inning to go ahead 11-10, I think. South Carolina comes back, scores a run, 2 runs to tie up, so it's 12-11 going into the bottom of the 9th inning. A&M hits a 2-run homer. They win 13-12. Incredible game. There you go. Between working the polls on Saturday for my brother and holding my cell phone trying to watch a little baseball as well, and being a little tired and a little my throat sore from the Walker Hayes and dancing and everything else. It's just a long weekend, but I can't give you a lot of commentary on the basketball. There's certainly a lot of it on at the sports book in the casino when we were there. But yeah, I've moved on to baseball, and as soon as the Aggie football starts up, that's where I'm gonna be. Miles saying it's been a quick 2022. Well, yes, it seems like it. We're already just almost halfway there, aren't we? All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? 7:45. All right, we got a little time. Bing bong. There's a YouTuber who ranked the top 10 one-time non-winning players on Big Brother US, and you made the honorable mentions. Well, that's cool. I'm very appreciative of that. When the All Stars were coming up, season 22, CBS did call me. It's not like they called and I said, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing All Stars. I'm too busy." No, that wasn't the case. I didn't quite make the cut. But the fact that people were asking me, and the fact that there may have been a few Big Brother players who were suddenly sending me messages, say, "Hey, how you doing, Cliff? Just checking in," and all that. Not that there was any pre-gaming going on, but there were suddenly friendly people from the Big Brother family. The fact that people were considering that I could be someone going back to the house, that's a hell of a compliment right there, and I was very appreciative of that. There have been so many people who've gone through that house and played that game that are icons that you remember. And I'm still not really able to wrap my head around the fact that there's people who kind of remember me from playing the game and all of that, and may continue to do so on down the road. Because I was just in there playing the best I could, and it worked out well until the very end. I came so close. Could have been fun to take it a little bit further, but hey, play the best you can. That's the way it happens. But yeah, it's I like you. I have to go out and check out that YouTuber. But anytime someone, when I was at that casino and at the concert, I had so many people come up to me wanting to talk and saying hi, how are you doing? And we watched you, we're cheering you on. And I felt like saying, God, that was 2.5 years ago. I thank you for still remembering who I am. That means so much to me. But I did have an absolute blast while we were waiting in line to get into the concert, and while I was at the restaurant and all that. Just talking to a lot of people about Big Brother, not just my season, just Big Brother in general. It's just such a cool family that we all watch that, and we feel so connected to some of these house guests, and me too. I mean, certainly the people from my season, but even the other seasons. You just, because you watch these live feeds, you watch so many episodes every week, you just feel like you know them. And sometimes you do. Sometimes you know a part of them. But yeah, I love talking Big Brother. That was my favorite part, was just getting to spend some alone time with my wife. That was a nice little getaway weekend. But talking Big Brother with a few people, that was fun also. All right, Jeb Bolivar. I applied a few years ago, but need to know if they will let you mail medical supplies to the house. I don't know about mailing, but here's the thing. If you've got medical conditions that require medicines and all that, they take care of you. And that's not something that goes above and beyond. We had in our season people who would go to the secondary diary room and pick up medicine all the time. Now they don't. I guess it depends on what kind of medicine it is. Sometimes Big Brother may not give you a whole bottle because they don't want you to take overdose on something and have issues. So sometimes it may be that they hold on to the medicine and you have to go take it and everything. But if you've got medical stuff that you need to be dealing with, as long as it doesn't, I think as long as they don't think that it could potentially have an impact on your health being in there. And, if the psychologist or the doctor says, yeah, they're whatever, it's just going to be aggravated by being stuck in this house without fresh air or not being able to exercise. There could be reasons, for health reasons, they'd say, yeah, no, we just can't make it work. But if it's just a matter of something that gets controlled by medicine, yeah, I think they take care of you for that. Now, they probably wouldn't say mail it. They probably just would say, hey, bring it with you. We won't let you take it in the house, but we'll hold on to it and we'll give it to you as you need it. But these past few seasons, I hear all these people saying, oh, I got to go upstairs to get my melatonin and all that, which I guess helps you sleep. They didn't tell us anything about that when I was in the house. It was so hard to sleep in there because the lights are on. Sometimes when you're trying to sleep, they won't turn the lights off. It's hot in there because all the bright lights are turned on. And I just found it incredibly difficult sometimes to get to sleep in there. And if they give me some melatonin or something, Yeah, I probably would have taken them up on that. No one offered that to me, but now these past few seasons, it seems like everyone's up there, just like candy store dispensary or something, getting their sleep meds. So I almost think it's if it's medicine you take to stay healthy, you got to take it, and they should give it to you. But if it's just to make you feel more relaxed in the house or go to sleep, don't do any of that stuff. Make us suffer while we're in there. We'll figure it out eventually. No, I don't think anyone's ever died from lack of sleep. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe that is the case. But I have a feeling you get sleepy enough, you're going to sleep in the house no matter what. And along the way, you're also going to be a whole lot more cranky and irritable and everything else that probably makes for that much better of a Big Brother show, a Survivor show, whatever reality show you want to talk about. I'm surprised at any of these shows they give you enough food to sleep or anything else. I think they probably want to keep everyone on edge, whether it's Survivor, The Bachelor, Big Brother, any of them. They want to see us irritated and gripey and everything. That makes for better TV, right? All right, Jake the Horror Movie Geek. On Saturday night, I danced the Macarena with my mom. Oh, there you go, Jake. I like the way that starts with my mom, aunt, and sister at my mom's surprise birthday party. All right, well, you had a busy weekend as well. That's congrats. That sounds like a fantastic way to spend a Saturday evening. So, congrats to you. Now, Jake, the movie horror geek. So, every time I see your name, it makes me think of movies and all that. On the way back from West Virginia, I watched in the plane. I'm sure all of y'all have already seen it. I only saw the first part because then the plane landed, which I'm not going to gripe too much. I was ready to get home. But I saw the first part of The Bird Box with Sandra Bullock. All right? Y'all know the one I'm talking about, right? She's got to wear a blindfold because there's monsters around. I watched the first part of it, and I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed the first half. It may have a horrible ending. I don't know. It may turn really cheesy at the end or something, but I enjoyed the first bit of it. And then I couldn't finish it up because, again, the plane landed. And so, and I've just been so busy since then. So I've told Sharon, I said, all right, it's got to be a night where we're in the mood to kind of have a scary, because it was a kind of a stressful, tense beginning to that show. So we got to be in the right mood for it. But I really want to find out what happens to Sandra Bullock in the movie. I guess it was a Sandra Bullock kind of flight back and forth, because on the way to West Virginia, I watched her in Gravity with George Clooney. I'm so big into space travel and space flight and all that. I can't believe I hadn't seen this before, but I hadn't. Special effects on that show were incredible, with them up in space the whole time. A lot of stuff where it looked like they were in zero gravity. I'm sure it was all special effects. And I mean, I know they didn't really shoot it up in space, but I kind of enjoyed that movie. I'd heard some people digging it and complaining the saying kind of. I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of a cool adventure story that takes place in space. She's going from spaceship to spaceship trying to get home and all. And so again, it's kind of Southwest Airlines Sandra Bullock weekend, I guess, or Sandra Bullock week. All right, Bing Bong. If there were mental comps in the end game, you could very well be the winner of Big Brother. I think so too. Yeah, no, Bing Bong. That's exactly what Nicole and I were counting on, because we had seen in past seasons that as you got to the end, you tended to get away from those big physical competitions, and it turned into a little bit more of the mental comps, either knowing all the different days or face swap. They haven't done face swap in a while, but they used to do the face swap competitions and a lot of stuff that was a lot more mental based. And that's one of the reasons when we were looking at who we were going to send out, especially, you remember when it was Holly and Mickey, it was Nicole and myself, and it was Christy and Tommy. 6 people, 3 groups of 2 people each. And we were saying, do we stick with Mickey and Holly, or do we stick with Tommy and Christy and try to get out Mickey? We weren't so worried about Holly, but we really wanted Mickey gone. But the fear was that Tommy and Christy were so strong in those mental competitions. They made a mistake. They quizzed each other all the time while we were in a house. Someone would go by and say, "Hey, Christy, what happened on day 42?" And she would, without thinking, immediately know exactly what happened, everything that happened on that day. And they did that enough times that Nicole and I several times looked at each other and said, God, they've got this stuff memorized. They have this figured out completely. I mean, someone could ask me what happened on day 42. I'd say, well, let's see, day 42 was right after this. So we had and I could come up with the answer, but it would take me just, a minute or so to kind of figure out, exactly what that day was. Christy, no issues at all. Tommy had his entire everything memorized into a song, so he could sing the song under his breath and know everything that happened. So we were so terrified of the two of them in terms of mental competitions, is really why we were so gung-ho about trying to get them out the door before Holly and Christy. And one of the other issue too is I knew personally that Christy and Tommy would keep Nicole over myself if it came down to it. So I didn't trust them nearly as much as I did Mickey and Holly. Shouldn't have trusted them either. What is this? A Big Brother or what? But it was. Yeah, I thought there'd be a lot more mental competitions as well. And when we had that final veto competition involved the slingshots, there's a little bit of a mental part of it, but overall it was a physical competition, launching the balls and the slingshots. And I'm a little disappointed, but it is what it is. Monica Baca, Cliff, you are unforgettable. Would love for you to go back in. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm just me. I'm just trying to play the game the way I am, but I appreciate it. And if they contact me, I would go back in as well after I ask permission from the wife and kids. Rich Cat Ranch, late to the party again. Hello all. Well, Rich Cat, it doesn't matter if you're running a little bit late. Welcome aboard. You can always catch back up later on watching as well. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you watching on this Monday evening. Mark saying, any idea the start date of Big Brother 24? And then Brian saying, rumor has it on July 6th. And Ma saying the last Wednesday of June or the first Wednesday of July. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. We started my season, when was it? I think we started my season like June 20th or something like that, June 19th. I can't remember at this point. But now, I don't even know how COVID's going to come into play. Do they still have 2 weeks of quarantine before you can go in the house? When I was there, it was about a week that we were quarantined out. And when I say quarantined, I guess quarantine's the wrong word because I was before COVID. We were in sequester for about a week before we went in the house. And during that week, they had to prove our clothes that we could take into the house. We had to, they'd come by and show us how to work the batteries and the mics and talk about, just little things. We had to do our press tour. So there are a lot of things that we did throughout the publicity photos, things like that. But now for the last few seasons, they've had a couple of weeks where they just want them isolated just so they don't pick up COVID or anything else. I don't know if that's still going to be the case. It could be. So, it may start just a little bit later just because they've got a little bit more sequester to take place. Let's see, July 6th or the last week of June. If I had to bet, I'd maybe, I don't know. I was going to say the last week of June, but here's the other thing too. When we first did ours, I think we had our episodes on Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday or something. It's kind of an oddball schedule because they didn't want us to overlap with 4th of July, which I think during my season was on a Thursday. I don't know what day's the 4th of July this year. I don't know. That may have a little bit of an impact as well, but I can maybe see them waiting till right after the 4th of July when people are all traveling and doing holiday and everything, come back and then start Big Brother right after that. Because if they start a little bit later, it also means that the season lasts a little bit longer into their fall TV schedule. And I think they're still trying to get caught up in terms of production for all these sitcoms and everything else because so much over the past couple of years was shut down because of COVID. I'm just guessing. I'm certainly not a TV insider. But yeah, I'm ready. I'll be ready whichever week that is. There's something so special about that cast reveal. I remember just sitting around waiting for Paramount or CBS, the app at the time, to release that cast and just watching with Sharon saying, oh, all right, this person's going to be fun. Or, oh, I can already tell I'm not going to be able to stand this person. And there's nothing like making those snap judgments about people based on nothing more than hearing a few minutes of talk from them and seeing what they look like and everything. And then you make your judgments. And the beauty about Big Brother is half of them you're wrong. Some of them you're right. But half of them you're wrong. People, and I'm sure people did that with my season as well. They probably looked at me and made some assumptions about who I was just based on the cowboy hat and everything, my age and all that. And I like to think that I'd like to think some people may have started off saying we're going to cheer for you, and a few people that didn't, maybe I surprised them somewhere along the way. But I've always enjoyed those cast reveals, so I don't know when they're going to start it, but I'll be watching. The second they do, we're going to be on here talking about it. I'm excited. This is a fun time of the year for Big Brother fans, right? Oh my gosh, 7:59. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and shut it down while we can. So appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate all y'all being out here. Another fun week. Another episode of Survivor coming up on Wednesday. We're down to, how many are we down to? 8 people, 9 people? I can't remember now. We got Red High and 2 before, so we're down to 7, I think. Wow, it's going fast. 7 people, so I'll do a recap of Survivor next episode as well. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so, as I said before, and you get notifications turned on. You'll find out when I drop that episode. But until then, guys, y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. Enjoy everything about it. Till then, well, I can't finish off without giving a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love y'all. Guys, y'all have a great one. I will talk to y'all Wednesday, and then I'll be back again next Monday for episode 76 of Cliff Notes Live. I love doing this, guys, so thank y'all so much. Cheers, my friend. Bye. Friends. Cheers. See y'all later, guys. Bye.